Coming up tonight on YCN News, the New Hampshire House and Senate approved the budget. A fireworks ordinance in Newbury, New Hampshire, and a look at an exhibit at the Windsor Museum. For more news, weather, and sports, it's time for YCN News, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, southern Vermont, and Windsor County. News, sports, weather, and all that is happening in our area. The news on YCN, your local view.
Good evening. It's Friday, June 19th. I'm Laura James. Welcome to YCN News. We have a developing news story. The State of New Hampshire medical examiner is en route to a private beach in New London, New Hampshire on Sunapee Park Road for a reported drowning. According to WNTK Radio, the person did not survive. New London Fire and Police Departments are on site. The person was found floating in the water. There's no word yet on whether the person is a man or woman, girl or boy. We'll bring you more news and online postings as news becomes available. Well, it remains to be seen if New Hampshire Governor Maggie Hassan will veto the state budget now that the $11.3 billion budget has been approved by Senate and House lawmakers. The spending plan covers the next 2 years and does not include programs that Hassan say are needed to help residents and small businesses grow. Well, memories of school lunch, whether good or not, usually are not a big deal for a school board or superintendent. Yet, for the students at Stevens High School in Claremont, school lunch means the chance to leave campus and head to local stores for a quick bite. But that may change now that the new cafeteria is large enough for more students to have lunch at and in school. Building a bigger lunchroom was part of the recently completed renovation. Over the last 2 years, as remodeling work at Stevens was done, the buzz among students was if they would lose that lunch period freedom of getting outside and into the downtown once the larger lunchroom was finished. Now, should that freedom remain for a 20-minute or so lunch break? To hear all sides of the issue, SAU 6 Superintendent Middleton McGoodwin is arranging for a public forum on the topic. All are invited to hash out the issue on Monday evening. The meeting will be held from 6:30 to 8 p.m. June 22nd at Claremont Sugar River Valley Technical Regional Center on South Street. Well, thoughts are turning to the upcoming July 4th holiday, especially regarding fireworks. Firework purchases are legal in New Hampshire. Even so, there are local ordinances that must be followed. Check with your local police or fire department to be sure of those regulations. In Newbury, New Hampshire, for example, the fireworks ordinance requires that all fireworks displays have a fireworks permit that's issued by the town's fire department. There's no charge for the permit. Unpermitted fireworks are subject to a $250 fine as specified in the ordinance. Permit applications require 24 to 48 hours to process once the application is received because an inspection of the display site is required. Now, the display site must be 100 feet or more from a structure or the lot line on property owned by the applicant. Permits cannot be issued for displays lasting beyond 10 p.m. in compliance with the Newbury Noise Ordinance. Applications for fireworks permits applicants must be over 21. And if they're not, the property owner applicants must have written permission from the owner of the property where the display is to be held. Well, you never want to judge a museum by its cover, as you never know what you might find inside. Here's a Windsor museum you might want to explore. YCN's Kurt Weedy has this story.
Well, welcome everybody to the Tool Revolution at the American Precision Museum. This is a new exhibit that we just launched in May of this year. We are very grateful to our major funder, the National Endowment for the Humanities. That's the federal agency that supports museums and other cultural projects all over the country. So the Tool Revolution tells the story of innovation and accomplishment that happened here right in this very building in the 1840s when it was an armory. So our site here in the 1840s was called a center of excellence. Lots of people were working on these concepts up and down the corridor. But this was one of the cool places that talented designers and machinists, they wanted to come and work here. One of the things that we really love about this exhibit is that we're introducing stories about the people who are behind the machines. This is David Wilkinson. He's considered the founder of the machine tool industry, and he was associated with the Wilkinson Mill, which is down in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. So here we are in the Tool Revolution section, and I'd just like to show you a couple of the really cool machines we have in this area. The gunstock lathe is on loan to us from the Springfield Armory, and we're really grateful to them for that. Once you had produced your gunstock, then you could bring it over here to this inletting machine. This one here, the Robinson Lawrence rifling machine, was built in 1853, and it's meant to cut a spiral groove on the inside of the barrel. So some really serious advances that had been developed in gun making in the process of implementing the concept of interchangeable parts.
So we have a press turret lathe here. This one dates to about 19.
So this is our working machine shop. It's right at the center of the exhibition hall, and we have a lot of help from a wonderful volunteer, Clay Washburn. He's a retired machinist, and he makes sure that everybody who comes goes away knowing more than they did when they started, and they go away happy as well. We launched the Arming the Union section of the exhibition in 2012 to coincide with the 150th anniversary of the Civil War. It's still on display, and we hope visitors will come and enjoy it. We're open daily from 10 until 5, even holidays like the 4th of July and Labor Day, Memorial Day weekend through the end of October. So we look forward to seeing you. Thank you.
That looks interesting, Kurt. Thanks so much. We'll definitely have to check that out. Coming up in YCN News, hikers, bikers, and motorists in the Twin State are reminded to stay on public property. Strawberries for the picking in New London, New Hampshire. And as summer arrives this weekend, Mike Pizzone has that all-important weekend forecast. More news and sports, too, when YCN News returns.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Laura James. Well, in your summer driving, biking, or walking travels around Vermont and New Hampshire, those yellow posted signs warning people to stay off of property, no matter how enticing, are there for a reason. 2 young men in Vermont found that out the hard way. They're scheduled to be in a Bennington court July 27th on a trespassing charge. 28-year-old Aaron Collette of Shaftesbury and 23-year-old Zachary Bentley of Bennington are charged by police with walking on land once used as the Pownell racetrack. Both men were issued citations for unlawful trespass for being on that former racetrack near midnight on May 30th. Well, if you like red ripe strawberries, this is absolutely the story for you.
We're here with Greg Berger, owner of Spring Ledge Farm in New London, and it's June, which means lots of great things are coming out of here. Tell us a little about it, Greg.
Well, our biggest question that we get asked is, when are the strawberries coming? And we'll have them all through June and into July. We're picking now down at the strawberry fields, which are a couple miles from our farm here on Main Street. The Pick Your Own will be open, and we've got a telephone number you can call to get the latest update. It's 603-526-2080, and that will be updated every day during strawberry picking season. The berries look fantastic this year. I snuck a few the other day. I go down after work and check them out. Just
fringe benefit.
Sure, yes, quality control. So they look and taste great, and there are loads of them. So we'll be well established with plenty of berries for everybody.
Super, and it's still lettuce season.
Yes, definitely. Our lettuce crop, having been kind of a cool season in May and June, it's looking great. We've got nice big heads, fresh lettuce. We also do mesclun mix, which is the salad mix, which is really easy to prepare. You just scoop what you want out of our containers here, put it in your bag, take it home, put it on your plates, and ready to go.
Nice. And we can still put some great flowers in it this time of year.
Yes, definitely. We've got loads of perennials and shrubs still, annuals, vegetable plants, even herbs, all geraniums, hanging baskets. And we do a succession of crops in our greenhouses. So we're growing fresh material all the time. These aren't old tired things that we've been holding on to. We start new things every week and provide those up here, because even in my garden I've procrastinated. I don't have everything in yet, but so we grow enough so that I can put my garden in, which means if you haven't quite gotten to it, or something didn't make it through the winter, or you have a new plan for something, we'll have the plants for you.
Benefits everything. Well, June is a great month, both for produce and for planting and everything that spring and summer have in store for us. So thanks a lot.
Sure.
Happy June.
So as we head through the month of June, you definitely want to be thinking of strawberries at Spring Ledge Farm. Thanks so much, Lynn. Well, coming up next on YCN News, a great start to the summer season at the New London Barn Playhouse. And just in time, we'll have that interview again with Lynn Solomon. She spoke with the director of the barn. We'll have that conversation when YCN News returns.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Well, it wasn't a bad way to end the work week with all that sun, and it looks like that trend will continue for the better part of the weekend. Skies will remain clear this evening, with temperatures falling to a seasonably low of 49 degrees, but things will warm right back up tomorrow with more bright sunny skies and temperatures in the mid-70s during the day, before bottoming out at around 59 degrees tomorrow evening. Clouds will begin to work their way into the area Sunday, making for partly sunny skies throughout the morning and early afternoon, before clouds thicken and bring with them a 60% chance for thunderstorms after about 3 p.m. Temperatures will max out at around 74 degrees with a low of 64 Sunday evening. Now let's take a look at our community calendar to see what's happening over the weekend. The 61st Annual Springfield High School Alumni Day Parade will be held tomorrow beginning at 10:30 a.m. on Clinton Street in Springfield, Vermont, before wrapping up around noon at Riverside Middle School. The Claremont Police Association's Kickoff to Summer Carnival continues tomorrow and Sunday from 5 to 10 p.m. on Maple Avenue in Claremont, New Hampshire. The carnival will feature rides, food, games, and much more. The Windsor Farmers Market will be held tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the State Street Green in Windsor, Vermont. There will be a variety of local vendors on hand offering meats, vegetables, and much more. All week we've been bringing you extended highlights of the 4 championship games held this past weekend featuring our local teams in the Twin State area. Today we're wrapping things up with the Sunapee softball team's historic win over Moultonborough in the Division IV title game at Plymouth State University. Despite being in unfamiliar territory in what was the program's first trip to the title game since 1975, the top-ranked Lakers were more than familiar with their opponent in a third-seeded Moultonborough team they beat twice during the regular season. Sunapee used that familiarity to its advantage early, swinging its way to a 3-0 lead by the end of its first at-bat. Junior shortstop Rachel Malanga started things off for the Lakers with a triple to the right field wall and crossed the plate with the game's first run on this ground ball off the bat of Katie Frederick. Sunapee made it a 2-0 game moments later when Faith Larpenter's grounder back to the circle plated Meg Frederick, before senior catcher Lexi Hamilton's sacrifice fly to left center allowed Katie Frederick to score from third to up the lead to 3-0. The Lakers added a little insurance in the bottom of the third inning when Larpenter tallied her second RBI on this shot to the wall and right, before a Moultonborough error on a hard-hit grounder off the bat of Hamilton plated both Katie Frederick and Larpenter to round out the team's scoring. Katie Frederick was nothing short of dominant through 6 scoreless innings to begin the game, but the Panthers didn't go down quietly, crossing the plate with their first run in the 7th on this triple to the wall and left, and rounding out the game scoring on a ground out to third, followed by a close play at the plate. Sunapee played a solid game defensively behind Frederick, turning an impressive double play that started when right fielder Haley Morin hit the cutoff in what ended up being a nice out at the plate, and a heads-up throw from Hamilton to Larpenter for another out at third. Frederick finished with 4 strikeouts in all, including a timely K for the game's final out that prompted a well-deserved celebration after having clinched the first title in program history. Frederick said after the game she was confident her team would get out to another quick start like it did in its 3-0 win over Portsmouth Christian Academy in the semifinals.
It was important. Runs are always important in games like this. Runs are important because you need them to win. But I kind of had a feeling last game we jumped out to a 3-0 lead after the first inning. I kind of feeling like that was going to be the same thing today, but I knew we could add some more to it today instead of just leaving it at 3-0.
YCN News also spoke with Morin, Larpenter, and Hamilton on the significance of winning the first title in program history.
Oh, it means the world. I mean, I'm a senior. I just graduated yesterday, and I've never won a championship until today. So it's so emotional for me, and I can't thank my team enough for putting all the extra time, all the effort. They're just an amazing group of girls that are going to stay with me for the rest of my life.
Oh, it means a lot after 42 years of not having a softball championship banner in our gym, and getting a basketball one earlier this year, and then just getting the softball one really means a lot.
It just feels awesome. We've worked hard all season, and Coach Cruz has been pushing us to be our best all season long, and to have it finally pay off, it just feels awesome.
We also spoke to Sunapee coach Bonnie Cruz, who touched on what it was like to coach this year's team.
I love them. I love every minute I spend with them. Practice isn't long enough. I look forward to seeing them at the end of every day. They've made it the most enjoyable season that I've had. They work hard 100% of the time, every day, and I can't be more proud of them. They're so deserving of this.
That does it for YCN Sports. I'm Mike Pizzone.
All right, Mike, thanks so much. Now, it is Friday, as we know, and it was a busy news week here at YCN. The New Hampshire state budget was in the news. There was also an award for the Brattleboro Food Co-op. All topics of discussion tonight. YCN News Director Lisa Cannell and Capital Connections host John O'Connor are here with the Week in Review when YCN News returns.
The YCN News continues in a moment.